Hi again. Well, I'm back from my conference in San Diego, visiting with about 10,000 of my closest friends. And now it's time for me to settle back in the office and give you a summary of some of the things I learned and some of the things I hope to work on in the coming year. So let's get started. So I'll be going over three main topics, three things that I decided I'm taking away as some of the bigger ideas. One had to do with taxes, exciting. Another with AI, which is on every news article practically. And then the third has to do with collecting a variety of different opinions on what people in the investment world expect to probably happen in the year ahead. So stay tuned. I'm going to be finishing with some of those thoughts. Well, my week started out with a deep dive into tax strategies with software that we use to analyze people's tax returns and hopefully create some planning for the future that will either allow them to pay fewer taxes or certainly not pay more than they need to. It really struck me when the session started out with a little tidbit that mentioned that people pay more in taxes than they do in food, clothing, and housing combined. So there's a topic worth addressing. I've got some really good information and some really good tools going forward to hopefully be as efficient as we can be in trying to pay as few tax dollars as we can. I also attended three different classes on AI or artificial intelligence, not necessarily to understand what it is, but how to use it and how we can use it in our world to be more efficient and maybe help get a clearer message out to people when we're trying to educate them. It was fascinating what we can do and the amount of time we can save if we use things properly. It's not to replace what we think or what we do, but to be more time efficient. And to that end, probably be doing more recording of meetings. I think that was one of the biggest takeaways that I saw in AI with all advisors that I talked to and the sessions that I went to, that more and more people in my world are using artificial intelligence to record their meetings and then summarize. You still have to review it. You can't just take it verbatim, but not only summarize the meeting notes, but gives good information back to the client so that we all remember what we talked about, what are the important points, so that we don't lose track of that going forward. I thought that was a huge positive breakthrough for me, and I fully plan to implement that this year. Now, as far as investment and economic opinions, there are a number of sources, some of the better economists in our country, I believe, in the world, and also chief investment officers of a number of different people. It's probably best not to quote them because I may not be quoting verbatim. So just give you a gist of what I took from their presentations. One quote I liked is that we have a tortoise of an economy, but a hare of a market, meaning that the markets have been moving very fast, even though the economy is actually slowing down a little bit. As far as tariffs, pretty much seemed consensus that we really haven't felt a lot of the effects of those yet. I did not hear from any of these people, though, that the R word, recession. I heard potentially slowing down, but not recession. I thought that was kind of interesting. So it's also surprised to hear that there's $4 trillion right now in money markets. So still cash out there to be buying if things continue to do well. Another point had to do with the Magnificent Seven, the large, primarily tech companies, that even though it seems very concentrated, that there's 7 of the 500 companies in the S&P 500, that those 7 companies have acquired 856 other companies. So in those terms, it's really representation of quite a few companies, way more than 7 if you look at recent history. So to sum up some of the economic points, that the tariffs may or may not have been felt yet. We may see a little more of that in the future. We do expect spending to slow down. We do expect the Fed to start cutting rates. There doesn't seem to be an expectation at this point for a recession. and the strength going forward still may be more in the US than in other parts of the world. So it was very worthwhile. I learned a ton of information. The trick always when you go to conferences like this is to come away with 2 or 3 actionable things that you're really going to do, because you got all kinds of great ideas and yeah, I'll do all these, and maybe you do, maybe you don't. But if you limit it, you may end up being more successful. I'm going to finish with a couple of things back talking about AI again that I thought were interesting. So if you're using one of the different programs, and a lot of them are already built into your computers or your phones, and they're looking for ideas, customize them. So like for me, if I said, I'm a financial advisor, can you give me an idea for an article? That's a little bit better than just trying to do a general search. And one last fun thing maybe for anybody to do, if you have AI capacity on your phone, take a picture of your fridge and all the food in your fridge and just ask, what should I make for dinner? I'd like to hear the results. Thanks for watching.